It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
But seriously, don't be my neighbor. What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And in today's video, something I never thought I would hear about coming to consumer trucks could come to consumer trucks. One of the biggest things that everybody wants is older engines. Even the president talked about it himself, how he would buy 10-year plus old equipment to not have to deal with the DEF systems and all the rest of it. What if I told you that glider trucks, that's a truck with a VIN number, brand new cab, could be sold to consumers, also commercially. And this was mentioned today with press and different back and forth with the EPA. Would that be interesting to you? Would you buy a 2026, say, Ram 3500 and put a 12 valve in it? I'd be all about it. Roll the intro. Speaking of Ram trucks, we actually are giving away a Ram 3500 that has been completely repaired, if you know what I'm talking about. And we'll never have an issue with any of the systems that we talk about here on this channel. If you want to get in on it, it's really simple to do so. There's extra entries up for the first 30 orders that are in there, and we're almost at halfway sold on those. So if you want to get in on it, you can, real simple, link in the description down below, tk'sgarage.bigcartel.com. Again, that's tk'sgarage.bigcartel.com. So glider trucks. This is a thing that was part of the 2027 bans that were going to keep that from happening. Basically, you weren't going to be allowed to buy a new chassis, right? A brand new truck, and put a refurbished engine in it so that you didn't have to abide by newer standards. Now, as you heard with what Zeldin said yesterday, and if you haven't heard it, I'll put the clip in here for you because we know people are lazy and they don't want to go watch videos. But he talks very specifically about 2027 standards and rolling those back. And how, you know, they've completely got rid of the DEF requirement for sensors, but he wants to completely end it 100%. Let me just roll that clip and then we'll come back.
Number one topic that I hear about from our farmers is complaining about diesel exhaust fluid. And over the course of the last several months, there have been a lot of actions that EPA has taken. And it wouldn't at all be possible if not for the directive and leadership and vision of President Trump. Last August, while I was at the Iowa State Fair with Small Business Administrator Kelly Loeffler, we made an announcement. Secretary Rollins participated by phone. There's no way we can make an announcement like this without Secretary Rollins participating, and we announced new guidance to significantly reverse the deratements that we saw across this country. We then followed it up in February with right to repair guidance, making it abundantly clear that our farmers should not be forced to go to certain authorized dealers to be able to repair their own farm equipment. It saves time, it saves money to allow these farmers to repair it themselves or to go to someone else who can help them without having to go far away and spend more in order to be able to fix their equipment. We also sent a letter to 14 engine manufacturers to request data as it relates to the SCR equipment and the equipment failures. One of the pieces that we hear as we travel around, when a farmer talks about how a DEF deratement is something that impacts them, it's not about, hey, I heard this story once upon a time that someone in my zip code claims that they have a cousin who had a deratement. It is a story of how that farmer has had a tractor 4 times during harvest that season. durate at the worst possible time. And what that means as far as time and money, too, significantly adds up. But we need the data. In the meantime, President Trump announced this at the White House, a great event. I'm sure many of you were there. If not, you're tuning in with several hundred farmers from across America. And President Trump announced that EPA that day was getting rid of the requirement for DEF sensors. The next big move that we are going to be making is an announcement on proposed rulemaking on the 2027 nitrous oxide rule. And in that process, we plan on proposing to eliminate DEF deratements entirely. It is our desire to do everything that we can to the fullest extent of the law to be responsive in the Trump administration to the concerns that we have heard from farmers across America all day, every day, with all the powers that we have. And that is why Secretary Rollins, Kevin Hassett, brought us together to be making this announcement. It's not just about what one of our agencies can do. It's about everything that all of our agencies can do at once to be responsive to this crisis. Thank you.
Well said. Well said, Zeldin. Thank you, Administrator.
So the reason why this is important, or the reason why this is like a big deal, the reason why this is a big deal is the following. The ability for a consumer to go pick up, say, a brand new Ram 2500 or 3500 from Ram, right? And just buy the chassis, no engine, would probably drastically reduce the cost of that truck. And if you're able to put in your own or your own refurbished engine into that truck, you know, granted it would have to work with, you know, the computer and all that good stuff. But I don't see how, if they're making it specifically as a glider truck, that they don't have to have DEF gauges and all the rest of it. Because you could have somebody that goes picks up a old 12 valve. Or maybe they go put a 2010, 2009 engine in that truck. It could happen. And I think the EPA, I think Lee Zeldin and the EPA, probably somebody in their legal department that proposes these ideas. I think this got proposed and the president heard it and was like, yeah, this is actually makes sense. This totally lets us get around this whole thing. If we're already rolling back these 2027 emission standards, which by the way, Cummins is already coming out with their engine for 2027, which is supposed to reduce NOx by 80%. And what I mean by that, talking about rollback, is Lee Zeldin said in that clip that they want to roll back that 2027 NOx standard because it's ridiculous. It's outrageous. So I can realistically see that happening. The thing that I find the most interesting here is how it would work with consumers. Like, do they go to the dealership and then put in an order for a whole truck with just no engine? Or no engine and no transmission? How much does that lower the cost of the truck? I mean, think about this. If you have a good powertrain, you have a good diesel engine, you have a good diesel mechanic, and let's say you put 400,000 miles on that engine, right? And then you tear it down and rebuild it, and you want a new truck. Would you like to put that engine and transmission, just throw it in another truck? I think it's cool. You could get a whole new truck. You get the whole experience of having a new truck, all the tech, all the crap, but you keep the tried and true, reliable powertrain. They've been doing this with semi-trucks for years. This is with these 2027 regulations, it was going to screw that up. And I've seen channels that's talking about it's over, you can't do it anymore. That's coming back. There's a reason why they're talking about it. What I find interesting is that they're talking about it not just for semi-trucks, but they're talking about it for consumer trucks. That's huge. Now, I don't know, if Ford and GM or whatever would want to jump on it, but I will tell you this: you guys know that I have a good relationship with Stellantis brands. I think it would be a freaking genius idea if they got the approval. If the approval comes through from the government, for Ram to just start selling chassis. I think diesel guys would be all over those trucks, putting older diesel engines, older transmissions in them, You know, granted, I'm sure there's going to be no warranty with any of that. But hey, if you sell a chassis, you're selling the whole chassis. And they already, and before you say, oh, it'll never happen, TK, they would never do it. They do it right now with the drag pack. So shut the fuck up. Yes, they do. They sold that, what was it, 70 or 69 carbon fiber body Charger for however many of those units that they sold. You know, they had the drag pack. Now I guess they're going to have the race pack coming up. They had the former drag pack, the new drag pack. Miss me with that. So when you tell me that, oh, you can't buy a shell or a body from Stellantis, i.e. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, you're out of your mind. They've been doing it. So it wouldn't be a stretch for them to do it with the truck. Fully loaded, all the bells and whistles, Laramie Longhorn, limited Longhorn, whatever the fuck it is now. Limited Longhorn, all the bells and whistles, and throw an old Cummins in it. I think they would not be able to keep them on lots. So I will say this: that was a shock to me to hear that today. So if the EPA wants to do that, and I think the president would be smart to do that, you know, reinstitute these glider trucks. I think you see a lot of truck drivers buying chassis from at the semi truck level, right? Buying brand new chassis, moving their old engines that aren't required to be under this bullshit that you have going on with the government right now, until the government can get all their shit in order. You know what I'm saying? When they get all their shit in order, then fine. Maybe that's not there, but as a workaround right now, having that glider truck rule is an absolutely huge, huge, huge deal. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.